live. Yay, we're live.
All right. Welcome to Fedupwithpolitics on YouTube, and we're also on the United States Constitutional Group.
And fedupwithpolitics.com.
The United States, it's our biggest group where people get around and can put anything they want about politics up there. We try not to limit everybody. Sometimes we don't put a couple things up there because it violates community standards.
This one you can't put anything up, but you can learn a lot.
Yeah, you can learn a lot.
It has our speaker up there, and it has this video on there.
It's got a lot of stuff.
And it's got so much information on there.
So every Thursday night, 7 o'clock, this is where we'll be. Let's stand for a pledge of allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yay!
We start every show off with the pledge of allegiance, and we do show our honor to America. So, again, we're at Fed with Politics on YouTube every Thursday night, 7 o'clock. And again, United States Constitution Group, if you haven't joined that, please join that. At 5:30, we do a podcast called the Hawk Podcast. And that's on your favorite Apple, iHeartRadio, Google, Spotify. It's on several. You can look us up under the Hawk Podcast. So that starts at 5:30. Please invite family and friends to join these groups. We, the people, have important work to do, and we need your help to accomplish that. So last week I talked about politicians and mainstream media and why this country is the mess we're in. Today I want to get more into about where the mess is happening, because of the economy, and then you can tell us if we should unite as pissed off people or just fed up and want change. Then if I have time, third party candidates and why we should call it a minor party, not a third party. Jack, what are you going to talk about?
Well, I was going to talk about this, which is our platform. So I had written a platform and then I sent it out, and you, Margaret, gave me some different things that should be put in there. And I have 2.5 pages that I did, and I put it in there, and I was going to talk about it today. But when I emailed it to myself to see how it looked before I sent it to you guys, I forgot to click the little remember button, save button. And I printed out the same thing I did, so I got to redo that again.
So hit Control Z and look at it back.
Now you tell me. I wonder if I can still do that. Then I'm doing this dorm report, but it is completely anger. I mean, just
makes you angry reading that.
Puts your hair on fire, and so I have to really PowerPoint this the right way so I don't start getting into rabbit holes and just a complete tirade and get none of the information out. I mean, there's certain little things in here like text messages between certain FBI officials. Hold on, I should put my glasses on. Text messages between certain FBI on their face show a predisposition to investigate Trump. This is exactly what these two did, and they changed the history of this country forever. They changed this to 2016, and they're not going to put anybody in jail for it. These two people, under the direct order of their superiors, and I think it went all the way up to President Obama, told them to do this. It was all lies, and they did, and they changed the course of history. This man went through 4 different investigations, nothing found. The things that they're doing to him now are unconstitutional. I mean, the indictment in New York is, the term is over with it. The statute of limitations is over. They added misdemeanors together to make them to felonies. You can't do that. That's against the law, but it doesn't matter. The law don't matter anymore. It's just out the window, and it's outraging. It is outraging what these two did from what their superiors told them to do. I think it went all the way to the highest office in the land, and it's causing what we have today, I believe. So I'm going to do this instead. So I always do a little reminder. So I want to remind you this one thing. If you as an American are doing with less, that means the government needs more. And that's all there is to it, period. So I want to ask a question. Why is the government so willing to allow the Americans to suffer?
They do. They make us suffer.
Yeah. Why do you think they do that?
Especially this last 2.5 years.
Yeah.
Suffer because they want social programs.
They've been making us suffer since
They want to
2016.
put their thumb on us.
Well, they don't care about us, and they want to take over.
Basically, my opinion is because while you're suffering and trying to figure out how to stop suffering, and remember, everybody listening here, while you're suffering, your children are suffering, your grandchildren are suffering.
The government's not.
They're not suffering. And certain ones in government are suffering, which I'll go over later. And you can't help them because you're suffering. And guess what? The whole time while you're suffering, this government is taking your rights away and placing you under tyrannical rule. So that's what they're doing. They are taking your rights away from you. They're making you live under tyranny. And they're causing you to live miserably. And we haven't seen anything yet.
No, they're going after the children. They're coming after our kids.
Well, they're disqualifying the parents.
They're
Disqualifying the family nucleus, beliefs in faith, whatever your faith is. You're not allowed to have any faith. You have to hail to the almighty government for whatever you want. And that's the way they want it. And it's both sides, folks. Both sides
Yep.
are doing this.
Republicans and Democrats.
Yep, I agree 100% on that. They can't even hide that anymore.
Yep.
That is so obvious.
It's crazy.
Yeah, they are looking to really make you suffer because the more you suffer, the more they prosper.
We're going to get into a few areas here in a minute about where we feel we're suffering the most. There's a few of them. Actually, there's a lot of them. I'm only going to mention a couple.
Well, yeah, what you're going to mention, and it all starts with taking away the American dream. So if you tyrannical government doesn't want a government of dreamers. They want a government of subordinates. So if you're not subordinate, they get rid of it.
We'll get into another word I think is better. About subordinates. All right, let's go.
Go for it.
So we, the people, have concerns that need to be addressed. And politicians, like Jack said, don't even want to hear from us.
No, you're irrelevant.
People have lost hope in the future of the United States. And they are frustrated with this government. And honestly, who can blame them? I know we can't. Because we feel the same as most of you. So the first mess I see that the federal government is doing is spending. Spend.
Spend it before you can.
That's right. The federal government wants to spend as much as they can, getting out of debt they could care less about.
They'll never pay it off.
It's politics on both sides of the aisle, Democrat and Republicans. They believe our money is their money to do whatever they want.
There was another guy that used to think that too. Monarchs. The kings used to think that their peasants' money was theirs.
Yeah.
And they took it, and they kept it.
Don't try to challenge them because we work for them. That's their mentality, people. If you don't think so, man, you're lost. Come on, it's disgusting. Right now, this country has over $31 trillion in debt. And thanks to this last debt ceiling deal, this agreement, in 4 short years, we'll owe over $35 trillion. There is no way we can sustain this much debt much longer before the bubble bursts. But it's not only our federal government. We have several cities on the edge of bankruptcy because of bad financial decisions and can face a financial collapse very soon. I'm going to mention a few of them. Cities like New York, they have the highest tax burden of any state. They have unfunded retirement entitlements, and the state legislature sucks, as well as their governor. But you voted for this. So blame yourselves.
Can I just show them something? You wanna know how big of a number a trillion is? That's what $1 trillion looks like. It's a lot of zeros. That's a pretty big number.
Yep.
We're gonna have 36 of them.
You wanna know something, Dennis? You're talking about these cities that are going under? These cities, they all seem to be liberal governments, have been getting a fortune from the federal government, and they still can't keep up with it.
So in New York, they can't pay their people. They can't manage money, but they will put condoms and crack pipes in a machine
Free.
for free.
Cost the city $11,000 for that one machine, and you notice the neighborhood it was in.
Wasn't a good
It
one.
wasn't outside of Gracie Mansion.
Yeah.
It wasn't outside the financial district. It wasn't outside the UN. Midtown. I mean, they're pretty liberal. They should put one there.
And on top of that, Mayor Adams, you know what he wants to do? He wants to pay the city residents $125 a day to take in illegal immigrants that'll most likely never leave your house.
$3,500 a month.
So you can make a mansion off the state, off the city, I mean. You know, another state, Chicago.
You just got to write your house off when it's over.
Chicago,
Because they ain't
Illinois.
leaving.
Chicago, Illinois is on the brink of financial ruin. Not only with mismanagement of financial issues, but with high crime and pension-based debt. They can't pay the pensions. Junior?
Marcus says that's ridiculous debt. Marcus says we all didn't vote for this.
The majority did.
I don't know. I think New York and Washington State, Oregon, California, they've been practicing that election stuff that went on in 2020. They didn't pull that off.
Talking about
Yeah,
Oregon. One more city's Portland.
Mm.
With a debt,
Pennsylvania, you could throw Pennsylvania in
with
there
a
too.
debt of over $5 million. The pensions that were promised to people, very bad shape. Like Mike said earlier, the one common denominator, all these cities are controlled by Democrats. The reason being is they want to spend our money for their social programs, or spend it $236 for your migrants in New York City on hotels, plush hotels. You know
Yeah, they took care of that too.
why the American people's kids, 1 in 6 kids across the United States is in hunger, but they're going to give migrants free freaking everything. With this world is crazy, folks. But they're all, like Mike said, they're all liberal. I mean, we can get into more cities that are ready to collapse financially, but hopefully you get the picture of where we're trying to go here. Yes, folks, believe it or not, Biden has ruined this country. Junior.
Marcus says maybe Kennedy will help bring the Democrat Party back to original beliefs.
Who? Maybe what? Kennedy?
Kennedy.
Okay.
I don't know. I think it's too late. I don't think they want it.
Well, they're going to fight him every step of the way. I mean, he's only polling at like 20% right now. So hopefully they'll get a little bit more. So next area that's a mess is the housing market right here in America. The dream of home ownership is out of reach for most people these days. The median price of homes in the United States stands at $436,000 today. Not only are houses overpriced, but then we must add in high cost of interest rates due to Bidenflation.
And it's also utilities are going up too. A lot.
Yep.
Yeah, electric's gone up 14%. The savior, electric.
So, one right there. Politicians have ruined this country by financial mismanagement. And in this economy, buying a house is out of reach for most of us. These days, it only seems like we, the average citizens, to buy a house is winning the Mega Millions or Powerball nowadays. Then you can buy a house. So good luck. So good luck with that.
Yeah, well, you better collect that money quick before the government runs out of money to pay you.
I was just thinking of that.
Yeah.
How is New York City going to pay you lotto too?
Thanks to Bidenflation, cost of home is $600 more each month because of inflation, because of interest rates. that are over 7% right now. Are you fed up yet? I know I am.
Mm.
Under Trump, we had a great economy. And I get it. He wasn't presidential. He had scandals. But people voted for the lesser evil, they tell us. Only to find out Biden has scandals and may be the worst president this country's ever had. Worse than Jimmy Carter. And he was pretty bad.
Yeah, he was bad.
At least Jimmy Carter believed in our freedoms. Biden doesn't.
At least he served in our
I
military.
don't think he knows what the Constitution is.
At least he served in our military where Biden didn't.
Yeah, he was flat-footed, and he wanted to get in the service so bad that to try and change that, he used to stand on soda bottles.
Carter,
Yeah.
not Biden.
No, Biden.
Yeah.
Biden can't stand on anything right now. I mean, Jimmy Carter's in hospice. I think he can jump higher than Biden can right now. So that way he can try and get into the service and not have flat feet.
That man fought for our freedoms. And he literally went for president, even though he was bad, to try to help this nation. Biden didn't do anything. None of these politicians do what I think to help this nation anymore. It's to help
No,
themselves.
you're right. You're right.
He was the smartest president we ever had. He was a nuclear engineer.
The housing market and government out of control spending are the first two areas that people have lost hope for their futures. So look up this article. They give you 12 reasons why people have lost hope.
I gotta look up at that article.
Yeah.
So it's called Dark Clouds Looming, 12 Reasons People Have Lost Hope for the Future.
Who wrote it?
I did. I forgot. It's a good article though. The next area of concern I see is rental prices for housing. Because of people not being able to afford the American dream of home ownership, they turn to renting apartments, condos, and townhomes. Have you seen the cost for renting one of these monthly?
Yeah, my daughter's been trying to get out here for a 4-bedroom. I think it's $2,900 a month
It's out of control.
without
Living-
utilities.
Living alone today is non-existent. I'm just lucky. Like Jack and I were talking earlier, just around the corner from us, they built these kind of tiny homes. They have 1, 2, and 3 bedrooms.
They look like sheds,
They do.
fancy sheds.
I thought they were garages for a second.
No, their house is starting at $1,700 a month, maybe $1,800 a month for a 1 bedroom.
And it's going to go up until things change.
Yep. For a 3 bedroom, it can cost you almost $3,000 a month. They keep building these luxury homes, apartments, and folks don't even make the money to be able to live in them. Not alone anyway. I mean, we're sure it's that way across the country. I mean, rent is so high, and every year it's going to increase. Like Mike just said. I mean, at least when you have the mortgage, the monthly payment doesn't change that much every year. I mean, it'll change when you add taxes and stuff like that, and your property insurance goes up.
But I tell you what, it's with everything. My son's transmission broke,
Yeah.
and he's got a nice car that was rebuilt. It's an older car, but it's a nice car. So $5,500 to get this transmission built on this car. Over $7,000 out of the dealership. So they were like, all right, we're going to see if we can find you a used transmission. But just like way back in the 70s, when you can't afford new, guess what? There isn't anything old out there anymore because nobody can afford to get something brand, rebuilt with new parts.
Nobody can afford a used car anymore.
Yeah,
It's
used
crazy.
cars went outrageous.
Junior,
Margaret says a 2-bedroom in New York City is $2,800.
And ask her how high her utilities are on Long Island.
Yeah, I don't know if her rent. No, I don't think it does.
I don't think so neither.
I believe our biggest problem we have in the very near future we haven't talked about yet is AI, artificial intelligence.
Yeah, I don't know anything about it.
I don't know much about this topic either.
I can barely do my phone.
I need somebody
to
to
type a letter.
just take over my
Well,
phone.
that's true. I can't do. I can't type up my thing here. Send. Gone.
The jobs that will be lost to AI are staggering.
Did you hear that Elon Musk is going to be putting chips in people's heads?
Thank God. Some people need it.
The FCC, the FDA approved it.
Some people need it to find their way back home.
What are you trying to
I
say?
tell you what, though. Yeah.
What do you say?
That's true.
Some people need it to, he goes, what are you trying to say? Mike gets lost from this room to the front door.
Gotta put a GPS in my
If
head.
we left Mike alone here, he'd never get back to my house.
Yeah.
But AI is dangerous, folks.
It's very left. Like if you put anything about the Bible, it's very left wing oriented.
Right. So what will people do when AI takes over and you lose your jobs?
Silver lining.
There's a silver lining.
They say a couple of the first
Industries to go.
industries to go are lawyers and media personnel.
Good. You know, we won't have to worry about our cities going bankrupt because most of America will be broke. I mean, look at McDonald's. They put those kiosks in. You know, you got to order food and put your credit card in or debit card.
Yeah, the worst.
I mean, how many people have lost their jobs at McDonald's because of AI alone?
How many people get the wrong order? Because a guy like me don't know how to use the kiosk.
Yeah, those are so hard to figure out.
Yeah. Yeah.
And sometimes the screen freezes.
That
and
was that
everything.
$15 a minimum wage.
I got to
too.
do that. Hey Google, can you show me how to work the kiosk?
Did you ever try to get a Coke at Burger King with all those circles?
Oh, yeah.
It's like what?
I used to
I
scream
just
at
want
those
soda.
things. Yeah, I used to scream at those
And then
things.
you finally figure it out and push your button, that one's out.
Yeah.
Brings you back to the beginning. Can you leave me off where I was at? I think that far.
Jokes, we have a lot of jokes around here. We laugh a lot, but this is serious. You know, people have lost hope in society in itself. You know, what other restaurant chains you're going to use AI or have? It's a major issue that our politicians are sure to screw up. You can bet your ass on that.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Mike.
I heard that because this has been going on for a while, the unions want to pay the robots salaries to give to the people that have lost those jobs. So you're unionizing robots.
You know, folks, what it comes down to is we need new leadership who care about the American people. These politicians have ruined our country, and it's going to take we the people to put it back on a correct course. Look up that article I mentioned. You see the 12 areas of concern that most non-brainwashed people have. Because those people are brainwashed, you lost. You ain't coming
I
back.
can't even talk to them.
You know, can't even. You're right, Mike. Can't even talk to them.
No. They get outraged.
You know, got anything to add on to Mike? On this artificial intelligence or whatever he talked about here?
Oh, I just, put in my 2 cents before. But if
Yeah, like, because you can't afford 5 cents.
I need a
Times are hard. You
GPS.
got to keep his nickels and dimes.
I need a GPS put in my brain, one of those chips so I can find out where the heck I'm going.
Yeah. First, I got to put a brain.
Jack, what do you got?
Hey,
What do you got on it, Jack?
if I only had a brain.
Yeah.
Do you think those areas concern you too?
Well, they are concerned because what they got to do first is they have to destroy the American dream. So a person without dreams,
It's easy to control.
right? If they don't know, if you kill a dream, you kill a thriving force. Because if you have a dream, you get up and you work for that dream.
Yeah.
So now if you don't have any dreams to go for, you just sit idle. You look at a place like Cuba, not Venezuela right now, but Russia, China. These places, they're living, they all live in a government issued home. And, if you have a family, which usually the families are small because you can't afford to have anybody because you got no money, and then that child moves out, they take that apartment from you and put you in a smaller one.
Yeah.
Oh, Madeline looked up something yesterday where they're not making babies that much anymore.
No, it's gone down. As a matter of fact,
15% or something?
Japan is in dire trouble because their population is dropping so quickly
United
that
States
they
the
might
same way.
lose a culture.
United States is the same way.
Yeah, I heard that.
I thought she said it was down like 7 or like 13%, but I'm not sure what she said.
Yeah, I heard that the nations are losing cultures because people stop. Well, they've been trying to get rid of the family for a long time. And they've succeeded. And also this AI, I think is very close because they're pushing it. All you see anymore is AI. Microsoft, Google's coming out with theirs, Apple. They all got these AIs and they're pushing it strong, like we're almost there. Pretty soon you won't have to do anything.
But you need some more asses like us for this kind of stuff.
Yeah. Well, you know, I lost what I was going to say now. What's up, Jack?
Margaret says, and they are the adults rising the up and coming. What's that?
And they are the adults raising the up and coming generations. Very scary.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Well, I tell you,
Nuts.
again, you know, you go to this economy, and it goes back to what me and Dennis were saying. It started out as the Democrats, and they were teaching, it was a college course. And now the Republicans are on it too, obviously. They don't plan on paying our debt. They don't plan on, and
They've proven that.
they plan on paying their foreign debt with printed money and making the U.S. dollar a commodity. And to make the economy, commodity scarce, the way you make a U.S. dollar economy, dollar, after you make it a commodity, to make it scarce, is you raise interest rates and inflation. Now your dollar's worth less, so you need more. So it becomes more valuable to nobody else but us, because we live here. Outside of this country, it doesn't matter. Nobody cares. They got their own currency.
Yeah.
You know, the bigger picture is these other countries. Again, you know, you watch the mainstream. We talked about Brazil, Russia, India, South Africa, and another country, I forgot what it was, going into this BRIC and making their own currency. And, you know, the stats show, well, everybody still has the US dollar as their reserve, and they still have the petrodollar and this and this. And China, that's another one that's involved in that. So, but what they don't realize is when China starts running on something, they don't care if they have to wait 100 years.
Yeah.
Eventually, when you have a weak U.S. government that's supposed to be the strongest free nation in the world, not the strongest free nation in the world anymore, and they believe in these tyrannical governments, you know, China's end game is going to come a lot quicker. You know, the U.S. dollar gets out of those reserves and out of the petro, man, you have not seen high interest rates.
We done one show where we talked about China. There's a specific word, I don't remember it, where it says basically, sit back and wait your time.
Yeah.
And that's what they've been doing for 40 years. Sit back and waiting their time. And I know their economy sucks and might collapse tomorrow too. But they've been quiet.
They want to
Now
try
they're
to take us
starting
down first.
to get more active. They're starting to get more bold.
Well, you see, and they don't care if their economy collapses because there's only a handful that they have to worry about. They don't care about their people. Their people are already starving to death.
They'll disappear.
They don't care. They do not care what happens to their people. Sound familiar?
Yeah.
Does that sound like a
United
familiar
States.
government?
Boy, I'll tell you it's parallel. It's
Yeah.
exactly what's happening here. This government does not care about its people.
Go ahead,
Where
Dennis.
Let's talk about more.
Well, I was going to wait for you. You want me to do it now?
Yeah.
All right. So I was talking about this government being tyrannical. And if you don't believe me, now I only saw this reported once on one mainstream media outlet, but I heard that Mark Meadows pleaded guilty for an immunity deal to testify against Trump, against the government. And so you know what happened with that. The government came to Mark Meadows and said, we're going to indict you. And he said, no, you're not. Nothing happened on January 6th. And they said, oh, yeah, we are. And he's like, no, I didn't do anything wrong. And they said, yeah, well, neither did Trump. And do you have enough money like Trump? Do you have $200-300 million to spend in defense of yourself for these cases? Because we don't care if you're guilty or not. We're still going to charge you with it. And you still have to defend yourself. So we're going to do this unless you sign this plea agreement and testify against Trump. And he saw what happened to Peter Navarro, who was another White House staff member. Now, if you don't know who Mark Meadows is, Mark Meadows used to be a congressman, and then he became chief of staff for Trump. So the chief of staff of Trump is now pleaded guilty and signed an immunity agreement with the United States government against Trump for January 6th. Peter Navarro. So this is what they told Mark Meadows. Well, we're going to do the same thing we did to Peter. Remember, he was going on vacation with his family, and when he was in the airport, we sent the FBI there with machine guns, and they handcuffed him and leg ironed him in the middle of the airport in front of his family. The guy's in his 70s. I don't know where they thought he was going to go. So they got Mark Meadows, the same thing they did to Mike Pence. I mean, Mike Pence was found with classified papers in his house. He's the vice president of the United States. He's not allowed to change classifications like Trump was allowed to. Presidents are allowed to change classifications. And they just came back with no charges. And as soon as they gave him no charges, what did he do? He started running for president. So these animals that are running this government from the left told Mike Pence the same thing. You want to start going down this road? We could drop these charges immediately. You could save you hundreds of millions of dollars that you don't have. And then run for president against Trump. And if you win, you do what we say to do. Listen, they're taking this from the top down. All of Trump's administration, that was all in the cabinet, they're all getting the same treatment. They are either defending themselves, spending money they ain't got, in jail, or have flipped. Because the government they're terrorizing. So this government is terrorizing the people that were running this government, that were trying to do it the American way. You want to do it the American way and follow the law of the land? We're going to get, again, Trump did nothing. He got 2 impeachments, the Mueller report, and this Durham report. Nothing found. But the people that changed the course of history, it says right in Durham, you think he's out on our side? He's not on our side, because they said the same thing to him. All right, you can put your report out, but you better make sure you add in there that you're not going to charge anybody. And you want to know something? He's retired. He's out. He's gone. So this is what's happening, folks. They are breaking it down, and they are putting you under your thumb. You're in trouble. We're in trouble.
Better stand up and do something about it.
I mean, if they're getting these people, again, New York State, the statute of limitations was gone. They were all misdemeanor. They had nothing to do with Trump. It had all to do with accounting. It's against the law to put a bunch of misdemeanors together and make it a felony. They don't care. It's your KGB. Give me a man. I'll find you a crime. And that's what they're doing. And it started with these 2 FBI agents working against American history. And they were told, don't worry about it, from the President of the United States. This has gone from the top down, and it is dismantling this country as we speak.
And it's going fast. It's happened fast.
I mean, look at all of these people. I mean, pretty soon it's going to be Ted Cruz. You know, I mean, poor Ryan, that mouse of a man, did nothing. You know, for 2 years, the Republican Party had all branches of government, and they did nothing. Mitch McConnell could stay in the front as long as he wants. You got a guy like Chuck Schumer who can stand on the Senate floor and say, I want censoring on Fox News because of the January 6th films, show an opposite story of what was being told. This is the Senate floor.
Even Biden today said he wanted censorship for 2024 elections.
Yeah. So they're censoring
They're
it.
taking away your rights.
You haven't seen Mark Rubio. All of these conservatives are going by the wayside because they're being told, listen, start playing nice in this sandbox, or you're not going to play nice anyway.
So I don't know if you've seen this poll, but 49% of people, 49%, would consider voting for a third-party candidate if Trump Biden squared off again for the presidency. People have had enough of both candidates and want another option. Biden's polling numbers have sucked since he pulled us out of Afghanistan, and people say he's too old. And Trump has indictments he must get through, so they're tired of hearing negative things about them. Or Trump is too old and Biden has too many scandals. It all depends on which mainstream media you watch, and if you're brainwashed or not.
Yeah, if you're brainwashed.
Forget about it.
Yeah.
But hopefully we'll stop watching them and turn into podcasts like The Hawk, Fed Up with Politics on YouTube, United States Constitution Group, and join us. Hear the truth. Hear what is actually wrong with this country, and not just a spin-off of the politicians. I want to know why they have to be called third parties when they need to be mentioned as a minor party.
Same reason why they call people minorities.
Yep. See, third parties don't make it in America, but a minor party could, and maybe even take over a position as a major party down the road.
And you said these are true minor parties, right? They're not like the Tea Party or.
This, like one like Jack and I are starting is going to be a true minor party. Yeah, true minor party. We're not going to be a spinoff. We're not going to back Republican or Democratic, candidates. That's if we the people have had enough of their gaslighting from these politicians. That's Democrat and Republicans.
Yes.
You like that, huh? You hear it every day. You know what the funny part is? Every day on the news, you hear the word gaslighting. I think they're reading our stuff.
There's a book coming out.
Yeah, ours.
That's
They might have read it.
I heard Harris Faulkner yesterday. last night or the other night. She was on 8 o'clock. She goes, politicians are gaslighting. We've been saying that for freaking a year.
Maybe she'll have us on her show when the book comes out.
Yeah. I'll go on her shows. I won't.
They don't steal the book first.
Yeah. They can't. Right there.
Ah, okay.
All right there. I mean, getting on a ballot is tough. It takes thousands of votes and signatures, and it can be done if people really have had enough of these two political parties. I know I have. I know Jack has. Mike has. Junior has. Don't be a sheep. Be a hawk. Be a patriot in a country full of political asses and elephants.
Well, you know what? Again, we like to show that it can be done. So they call it. First off, it's in our platform, and when I push the save button, you guys will see it. So when we start getting these people in from these minor parties, there's one or two things that have to happen. Number one, so much work to get on the ballot as a minor party. It wasn't like that for the Republican Democratic Party. It was just done. So either they have to make, if you want to run for office as a Democrat or a Republican, make it as much work as it is for these minor parties to get on that ballot. Or two, make it as easy for the minor party to get on the ballot as it is for the Republicans and the Democrats. What's up, Mike?
Do you think that if you made it as hard as it is for the minor party, as for the Democrats and Republicans, then maybe you actually get people that want to be elected to help this country?
Yes.
Because there's so much work.
So much work that they're willing to serve the people.
I mean, it shouldn't be easy to get on the ballot.
Right.
It should make it tough because it
Right.
Right.
shows how much determined you are and how much effort you want to put into it
Right.
to get on the ballot.
But it has to be fair. All of
Right.
them have
It's got to be hard for everybody.
Right.
Every single person getting ready to go onto any kind of ballot at any level should all have to do the same amount of work.
I mean, like for president, you have to get 15,000 signatures in every single state.
Yeah, but if you're in the minor party, it's even more.
Well, to be recognized as a minor party, you have to get like here in South Carolina, we need 10,000 signatures. It could be, I think in New York, to be recognized as a party, you need 50,000 votes. So it's different in every state.
Right, but it's all much harder than Democrats and Republicans.
Right.
And then to
For
go,
Republican, I mean, if you run as an independent, you only need 5% of the people in that district. I mean, you can run as a Jack Young running for South Carolina Senate. you only have to go and get like 3,500 signatures and then pay the $500 fee to get on a ballot. But a minor party, because you're going to be statewide, that's why they want it.
Right.
So it's very hard to get on it, but it can be done. You know, I mean, we can have the last laugh,
Yeah, I hope we do.
but we have to be ready. We have to have these people. We have to wake people up. We got to show them the areas where these politicians have ruined our country, like housing, overspending, AI crap is coming out,
Homelessness.
homelessness, taking care of our
Education.
veterans, feeding people that are hungry all day, and stop taking care of the migrants. Take care of the people of
How about
America
they
first.
drew,
Mike,
they drew
illegal.
the veterans out of the hotels to fit the immigrants, the illegal immigrants.
So
That's
And-
outrageous.
Also, we talk about a minor party, and people say it's impossible to do. And I don't think it is. And I'm going to give you, again, me and Dennis don't like to talk about things without giving examples of success in the same thing we're trying to do. So, people say it's impossible to get a minor party on the ballot. And it's impossible to get it nationwide. And it's impossible, it's impossible. It's always impossible. But if you think about it as a business, all right? You have many, many businesses that are in business right now that contend against big box stores that are nationwide, worldwide. And we'll take an example. Microbrewery for beer. Sam Adams, in our lifetime, now Orbia started out as a microbrewery to railroads and refrigeration started. But Sam Adams in our lifetime was the original new age microbrewery. They're not a microbrewery anymore. They're one of the biggest ones out there.
Yeah.
So if we sell your minor party like these microbreweries do, and how do they sell it? We're better. Why are we better? Because we're smaller. We're in touch. We know what our customers want.
Mm.
We know what our customers want to have. So we take this minor party, the same way a microbrewery takes it, and set it into mainstream.
You can have maybe AI take care of it.
Yeah. Well, you know what?
That's coming
Hopefully
soon.
when AI takes over,
you know, it's
I'll look a
easier.
lot better looking.
It's easier. It's
You
easier-
will.
It's easier in today's with technology to get this stuff done. Years ago,
You used to have to go door to door.
we still have to, you know, but there's other avenues you can take with technology that can help you faster to get to 10,000 signatures. And you know, it might take us 6-8 months to get there, but we'll get there. You know.
But
Like
like you said, all of us should have to go through the same thing.
Any last words, Mike?
All of us should go through the same thing. Like I said, like you were saying, it should be hard. Well, not hard, not impossible, but it shouldn't be easy. It should
Right.
be. You should have to put some work into it, so these people know this guy really wants to work for us. Because look at the work he's putting into it just to get into a job that doesn't pay that much.
Yeah.
You know, because the state, right? The state, the
10 grand.
10 grand. All right, that's poverty. So you got to really want to do it to help people, but work for it. These guys are just getting handed everything, and that's why they become corrupt.
Right. Anything to that? And enough.
Bye.
I'll talk tonight. You know, being a patriot in this country takes determination, hard work, and sacrifice. If you want to run for office, it's going to take hard work, determination, and sacrifice. As patriots, we must keep our eyes open to these tyrants in Washington of building up our own minor party. Not third party, a minor party.
Mm.
Are you going to just be the sheeple? Or will you get involved to help achieve greatness? So we can help people achieve the dream of ownership, good wages, everything, lower inflation, cheaper vehicles, that you have a choice if you want an electric or gas. You should have a choice in America.
No misery.
That's right, no misery what we have now. See, we can't do that with these politicians and political parties we have now in charge. They brought us as far as they can. It's time for them to step aside and let new leaders and another minor party to take up the reins.
I'd rather them step in jail.
Right. We need to unite the other minor parties because there's so many out there, and we can do it. We believe, Jack and I believe, we're at a tipping point in society where we've all had enough of two-party rule. This is way bigger than us.
Yeah, it doesn't work.
We must stand united as patriots to achieve what we need to achieve as success. Mike, can you lead us in prayer?
Okay, I'm going to do this prayer. Another sad situation about this government is less and less Americans are believing in God. So we got Hebrews 11:6. But without faith it is impossible to please him. For he that cometh to God must believe that he is, and that he is a rewarder of them that diligently seek him. Let's pray. Dear Lord Father, help us to diligently seek you, Lord. Whether or not we are seeing those rewards you promised, we know you provide good things for us. What we don't see today, you may provide another time. Help us, Lord Father, to seek you in faith for all our needs. And let us reach out to those who do not yet believe in you. We need to share all you have done for us with people who have hurting hearts. We pray this in Jesus' precious name. Amen.
Amen. Thanks, Mike. Remember, do your own research. Be the smartest person in the room. Be smarter than your politicians. You can win. We can win. Always remember, knowledge is power. Thanks for listening. Have a great weekend, and we'll talk to you next Thursday.
Good job.
Okay, next Thursday I'll do a prayer for Father's Day. I think it's the following Sunday, right?
Here it is.